Law is one of the most effective tools we have to influence behavior, coordinate action, and achieve public goals, such as conservation. But what is law? Law is a body of rules governing human conduct, recognized as binding, and enforced by a public authority. Law is different from morality and ethics. I may think that it is immoral to eat meat, or lie to your spouse, or cut to the front of the line. But in most countries, these actions are not prohibited by law. They are not enforced by a public authority. At the same time, not all action by public authority is lawful. A corrupt policeman may put me in jail for refusing to pay a bribe. This is not supported by law. Law takes many forms and exists at many levels, from international law, including treaties, principles, and conventions, to national law, including statutes, regulations, and judicial decisions, to local or community law, including municipal codes and community bylaws. Not all law is written down. In some places, religious codes or customary rules have legal force. For example, in many countries, Sharia, Islamic law, exists alongside statutory law, or is incorporated into the statutory system. In these countries, Sharia courts can judge cases and order punishments. In other places, customary authorities, such as village chiefs or tribal councils, have lawmaking power. Some places have many different types of law from different legal sources. Depending on where I live, I may be subject to national legislation, religious mandates, local ordinances, and tribal rules all at the same time. This is called legal pluralism. Laws also have a hierarchy, which determines the order in which they are applied and what happens when they conflict. Different laws are at different levels in this hierarchy, sometimes called the Chalcedonian pyramid. The highest level of law in a country is almost always the Constitution. Lower levels in the pyramid may include general legislation, special legislation, and bylaws and regulations. If provisions contained in a specific regulation contradict the text of a law, the regulation will be declared null or invalid. If a law contradicts the content of the national constitution, this law will also be considered invalid. Law performs many functions. Substantive law creates rights and obligations. It tells you what you can do and what you can't, what rights you have to your things and your property, and even what taxes you owe. Procedural law creates processes within the legislative, judicial, and administrative systems. It tells you how to get a driver's license, or file a complaint, or defend yourself if you are arrested or sued. It also gives judges, policemen, officials, and other government actors rules to follow as they do their job. Law affects every facet of life. It creates the basic structures of government and the basic rights of people. It regulates businesses, organizations, families, and individuals. It determines how the state spends its money. And most importantly, for our purposes, law sets out tools, processes, and frameworks for conservation.